Asking for help can help you improve your personal and professional life. In this video, I will show you examples of needing to ask for help with sample scripts. For more detail, including examples, check the link to our blog post in the description box. I used to think my old cat on the left wasn't very smart. She often hurt herself and didn't seem to learn from her mistakes. When she passed away, I got this new cat on the right. The new cat is adventurous. She learned to open drawers and cabinets, and she can climb anything. She figured out how to use all the reflective surfaces to spy on me. I thought she was the smart one, but I realized my old cat could do one thing my new cat doesn't do. She knew how to ask for help. If my husband or I shut a door, our old cat would let us know right away if she was trapped inside. The new cat will sit and wait, sometimes for hours, until the door is opened, and she bursts out of the room like a rocket. No matter how smart you are, you're limited to your own abilities and resources until you ask for help. So, why don't we ask for help? Lists of fears are usually quite similar. Low self-worth, fears of failure and rejection relate to vulnerability. These fears usually rank far higher than physical threats like spiders and snakes. As you can see from the items in bold, many of these common fears are part of asking for help. These fears limit us to our own abilities and resources. To help you tackle your fears of asking for help, I'm focusing on two main sources of fear: vulnerability and not knowing what to say. The fear of vulnerability and the perceived risk of looking stupid are very common issues and interfere with our ability to speak up for ourselves. This poem by psychiatrist R.D. Laing sums up how the fear of looking stupid causes people to exacerbate their problems. They let their fear stop them from communicating their needs. This fear of vulnerability encompasses most issues from the list of fears which affect how we think we are perceived by others. Issues with feelings of inadequacy and low self-worth take time to resolve, but a change in perspective can be the first step to overcoming these fears. The fact that you need help is actually a good thing. If you need help, that means you've pushed yourself to the limit. This is your chance to grow. You have an opportunity to accomplish more than you could have done alone. And if you're still worried about failure, you should know. There's a reason so many quotes about failure include the word success. Failure is one stage of learning that can lead to success if you don't quit. And getting help is one of the best ways to complete your task instead of quitting. So if you decide to continue to grow and get help, you can reach new levels of success. One more overlooked aspect of getting help. Large projects like SpaceX and the iPhone each usually bring to mind one person, when it actually took a team of decision makers and a huge workforce to make either project happen. We love the myth of the rugged individualist, while forgetting it usually takes a team to do anything of significance. We wouldn't have the products we have today without somebody asking someone else for help. I hope this and the other points put the fear of vulnerability into perspective. Coming back to the poem, overwhelming someone when finally asking for help is also common. If you cover up not knowing, or not even knowing what it is you need to know by pretending to know, it can cause additional problems and undue stress. The poem ends with, "So you will have to tell me everything," because it's common to overwhelm the other person after becoming stressed and then finally asking for help. This leads us to our second issue, not knowing how to ask for help. It's easier if you remember to be helpful to get help. You might feel overwhelmed by what you need to do. but you don't need to overwhelm the other person. You're not asking them to do it all. If you do your homework, research, and think about what needs to be done, you can make it easier for the other person to help you. Taking responsibility and simplifying your request keeps you from being overly helpless. It can help to look at the way others successfully ask for help. For example, political grassroots organizations, crowdsourcing, crowdfunding, and other efforts exist because people love to help. These organizations work because they know how to be helpful to get help. Volunteer organizations have clearly defined roles. This is their way of being helpful to get help. By the way, did you notice the clipboard? This is one of the ways an organization can be helpful to get help, with clearly defined roles and a script. They don't overwhelm volunteers, and the volunteers don't overwhelm the people they visit. The script also keeps the request simple. In this example of needing help to understand something, an overwhelmed student can overwhelm a teacher. Not having a starting point sounds more like a complaint than a request for help. This is why not taking the responsibility of having a starting point can overwhelm the other person. Using what you do know as a starting point is a way to get faster and more precise help without wasting anyone's time. In these examples, the student has clearly done their homework, offering what they know as a starting point. This is being helpful to get help, not overwhelming the other person, and it shows responsibility. The basic formula to asking for help to understand something is stating what you do know and what you want to know. As Dale Carnegie pointed out in his book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, asking someone for help is a subtle but effective form of flattery because you are showing the other person they know or have something you need. Adding a compliment is optional, but helpful. The flattery is genuine. You're asking the other person for help because you value their expertise. Showing that appreciation can also make it easier to remember your starting point. In this example, the compliment is also a starting point for the request. Instead of overwhelming in the first example, the specific request shows flattery, responsibility, and provides options for help. Our next example of asking for help is getting help with a project. Fear of looking stupid could keep you from getting the help you need. This can lead to an easily preventable problem or poor work performance. A poor work performance can cause you to miss out on opportunities, like a raise or promotion, or it could cause the loss of your job. Like the previous examples, not offering a starting point sounds more like complaining than asking for help. In this example, you can see that stating you have all the other information but the travel expenses makes it easier for someone to help you. When you feel you have an unreasonable workload, help comes from not being stuck with more than you can handle. If you're new, experienced coworkers can let you know if the amount of work you have been assigned is normal and fair. You can also consider asking for tips to help you improve your efficiency. If you're not new, and your workload is increasing beyond what is normal, you can find out if you're not the only one experiencing this problem. Business needs can change. It's possible everyone else is coping with an increased workload. Once you find out your workload really is unfair, it's a good idea to address this with your boss. Effective managers know how important employee engagement is. Recruiting and training costs are a significant investment of time and money. Employee engagement makes that investment pay off with increased productivity and lower turnover. People aren't always straightforward when expressing their anger at unfairness. An unfair work environment can lead to the loss of a good employee. But the employee doesn't always leave right away. Before finally leaving, they could become disengaged, lower the team's morale, reduce their productivity, and increase errors. If you talk to your boss about it, you're doing them a favor. You're making them aware of an issue before it leads to the loss of employee engagement. By this point, if you verify that your workload is unfair, you might still be afraid that by saying something, you'll be considered insubordinate or lazy. But you're not actually saying no. You're making your boss aware of an issue they need to know, and you're avoiding a poor work performance from being overworked. If you have more than one boss or an overwhelmed boss, they might not know how much you've been assigned. Reminding them of your other projects and deadlines could help them adjust expectations, priorities, or deadlines. They could also find coworkers to help. This ensures that they're making the best use of resources instead of overloading a member of their team. A difficult situation doesn't have to be a no-win scenario. The first example with too many assignments shows that you're not unwilling to do the assignment, but if you add it to your existing workload, it could cause a delay. This could help with managing expectations. The second example lets your boss know that you would need another person to help. The third example, with too many bosses, reminds your boss of the work and deadlines others have assigned to you. There are many other situations in which you might need to ask for help. In your professional life, networking and research interviews can help you expand opportunities. In your personal life, asking for help can be as simple as asking for advice to more complex issues such as setting boundaries, which is a powerful way of standing up for yourself. Check out our 3-part series on boundaries with a link in the description box. In this last example, it's easier to ask for help earlier than waiting until you're already stressed and angry. It includes a specific request as well as the reasons the request is being made. By the way, that is not a picture of my kitchen. Here's one last benefit and example of asking for help. In addition to gaining more information and resources, you can establish and improve relationships with the Benjamin Franklin effect. Benjamin Franklin wanted to improve his relationship with another member of legislature. He knew the man had a collection of rare books and asked him if he could borrow a specific book from his collection. The other man sent the book immediately, and after a few days, Franklin returned it with a note expressing his gratitude. The other man's behavior toward him instantly changed. He showed a readiness to help, and they remained friends for the rest of his life. Franklin's request was simple, specific, and it gave the other man an opportunity to impress. Franklin explained this effect with this quote, meaning that someone who has done you a favor will be more ready to help again than someone you have helped. You'd think doing someone a favor would be the way to get someone to like you, not the other way around. Some psychologists believe this happens because of the mind's way of resolving cognitive dissonance. When someone does you a favor, even if they don't like you, the action of helping you makes them convince themselves that they must like you. After all, why else would they be helping you? Don't forget, people like to help, so make it easy for them to help you. Thanks for watching. We hope this information has helped you. For more help, contact us at crossroadsindy.com.